Have you ever been in a situation where you're with someone special and you can feel this strange tension in the air? Maybe she's acting a little different than usual, or there's something in her body language that seems to be sending you a message you can't quite decode. Well, today we're going to talk about those subtle signs that indicate she wants you to open up and have a real conversation with her. Understanding these signals can be the difference between missing a meaningful moment of connection and deepening your relationship in ways you never imagined. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be able to recognize when she's practically begging you to talk, even when she's not saying it directly. Before we get into the specific signs, it's important to understand that women, in general, tend to be incredibly skilled at nonverbal communication. While men often prefer direct, straightforward conversation, women frequently communicate through subtlety, body language, and creating the right atmosphere for dialogue. This doesn't mean women are being manipulative or playing games. It's simply a different communication style that has developed over thousands of years of human evolution. Women often test the emotional safety of a situation before opening up completely, and they use these subtle signals to gauge whether you're emotionally available and ready for deeper conversation. Think of it like this: if conversation were a dance, men might prefer to jump straight into the tango, while women often want to start with a gentle waltz to see if you can follow their lead. Understanding this difference is crucial for building stronger, more meaningful relationships. Sign number 1, the lingering look. One of the most telling signs that she wants you to talk is the way she looks at you. We're not talking about a casual glance or a quick smile. This is something much more intentional and meaningful. When a woman wants you to open up, she'll often give you what I call the lingering look. This is when she makes eye contact with you and holds it just a little bit longer than normal social interaction would require. There's an intensity in her gaze that seems to be searching for something deeper. You might notice her eyes seem to be asking a question, even when her mouth isn't saying anything. She might tilt her head slightly while looking at you, or her expression might be softer and more open than usual. This look often comes with a small, encouraging smile that seems to say, "I'm here and I'm listening." For example, imagine you've just come home from a particularly stressful day at work. Instead of asking you directly about your day, she might catch your eye across the room and give you this meaningful look while she's doing something else, like making dinner or folding laundry. She's creating space for you to share without putting pressure on you to talk. The key difference between this and a normal look is the duration and the emotional quality behind it. It's patient, inviting, and full of curiosity about what's going on in your inner world. Sign number 2, creating physical proximity. Another clear indicator that she wants you to talk is when she positions herself physically closer to you than usual, especially in situations where there's plenty of space available. This might mean she sits next to you on the couch when she could easily sit in the chair across the room. Or maybe she stands closer to you while you're doing dishes, even though she's not actively helping. She might lean against the kitchen counter while you're making coffee, creating an intimate space for conversation. The beautiful thing about this sign is that it shows she's making herself emotionally and physically available for connection. She's removing barriers and creating an environment where conversation feels natural and safe. You might also notice that she mirrors your body language more than usual. If you're sitting forward, she leans in too. If you're relaxed and leaning back, she matches that energy. This mirroring is often unconscious, but it's her way of creating harmony and encouraging you to feel comfortable enough to open up. Sometimes she'll even engage in light, casual touching, a hand on your arm, playing with your hair, or resting her head on your shoulder. These aren't necessarily romantic gestures. They're comfort gestures designed to create emotional intimacy and signal that she's a safe person to talk to. Sign number 3, the strategic pause in activity. Have you ever noticed how she sometimes seems to slow down her usual routine or pause what she's doing for no apparent reason? This is often a deliberate invitation for conversation. For instance, she might be scrolling through her phone and then suddenly put it down and just sit quietly, looking content but available. Or maybe she's reading a book and she closes it and sets it aside, even though she was clearly engaged in the story. These moments of deliberate stillness are golden opportunities for connection. She's essentially pressing pause on her life to create space for you to fill with conversation. It's her way of saying, "I have time for you right now, and nothing else is more important." You might also notice she'll do this during natural transition moments, after you both finish eating dinner, when you're both getting ready for bed, or during those quiet Sunday morning moments when there's no immediate agenda. The key is recognizing that these pauses aren't random. They're intentional invitations. She could easily fill this time with activities, but instead, she's choosing to create space for potential dialogue with you. Sign number 4, gentle probing questions. While some women prefer to wait for you to initiate conversation, others will use gentle, open-ended questions as a way to encourage you to talk. These aren't direct confrontational questions like, "What's wrong?" or "Why are you being quiet?" Instead, they're softer invitations that give you room to share as much or as little as you want. She might ask something like, "How are you feeling today?" instead of, "How was your day?" The difference is subtle but important. The first question invites emotional sharing, while the second might only get you a factual response about events. Or she might say something like, "You seem thoughtful today," which isn't really a question at all, but rather an observation that opens the door for you to share what's on your mind. Sometimes she'll ask questions about your interests, dreams, or opinions on things that matter to you. She might bring up a topic she knows you're passionate about, not because she needs information, but because she wants to see you light up and share your thoughts. The beauty of these gentle, probing questions is that they don't put pressure on you to have a serious, heavy conversation. They simply create opportunities for you to go deeper if you want to, while still giving you the freedom to keep things light if that's what you prefer in the moment. Sign number 5, sharing her own vulnerability. First, one of the most powerful signs that a woman wants you to talk is when she opens up and shares something personal or vulnerable about herself first. This is her way of modeling the kind of conversation she's hoping to have with you. She might tell you about something that's been on her mind, share a childhood memory that's meaningful to her, or talk about her hopes and fears for the future. By being vulnerable first, she's demonstrating that it's safe for you to do the same. This is particularly common when she senses that you're going through something difficult, but you're not sure how to bring it up. Instead of directly asking you to talk about your problems, she might share one of her own challenges and how she's dealing with it. For example, she might say something like, "I've been thinking a lot about my relationship with my sister lately. Sometimes I worry that I'm not as good a sister as I could be." This kind of sharing creates an atmosphere where you might feel comfortable opening up about your own family relationships or personal concerns. The important thing to recognize is that when she does this, she's not necessarily looking for you to solve her problems or give her advice. She's creating emotional intimacy and showing you that deep, meaningful conversation is welcome and appreciated. Sign number 6, creating the right environment. Women are often masters at creating environments that encourage conversation. If she wants you to talk, you might notice that she's being more intentional about setting the scene for dialogue. This could mean she dims the lights a little, puts on soft music, or suggests going for a walk together. She might make your favorite tea or coffee without being asked, or suggest sitting outside on the porch instead of staying inside with all the distractions. Sometimes she'll eliminate distractions altogether, turning off the TV, putting away her phone, or suggesting you both step away from whatever you're working on. These aren't random suggestions. They're deliberate attempts to create space for meaningful conversation. You might also notice that she chooses timing carefully. She might suggest a conversation during those quiet moments when you're both naturally more relaxed and open, maybe during a car ride, while you're taking an evening walk, or during those peaceful moments before you both fall asleep. The environment she creates often reflects the kind of conversation she's hoping to have. If she wants something light and fun, she might suggest talking while you're both cooking dinner together. If she senses you need to talk about something more serious, she might create a more intimate, private setting. Sign number 7, the gift of undivided attention. Perhaps one of the most precious gifts anyone can give in our distracted world is undivided attention. When a woman wants you to talk, she'll often demonstrate her readiness by giving you her complete focus. You'll notice that when you do start talking, even about small things, she puts down whatever she's doing and really listens. She makes eye contact, asks follow-up questions, and responds in ways that show she's genuinely engaged with what you're saying. This kind of attention is her way of showing you that your thoughts and feelings matter to her. It's also her way of encouraging you to share more, because she's demonstrating that when you do talk, she values what you have to say. Sometimes she'll even verbally acknowledge this by saying things like, "I have some time right now if you want to talk," or "I'm not in a rush to go anywhere." These statements might seem casual, but they're actually powerful invitations that let you know she's emotionally and mentally available for conversation. The beautiful thing about this sign is that it often creates a positive feedback loop. When you feel truly heard and valued, you're naturally more inclined to open up and share more of yourself. It's important to understand that when women display these signs, it's usually coming from a place of care and connection, not manipulation or control. Women often have an intuitive sense about when the people they care about need to talk, even when those people might not realize it themselves. Sometimes she can sense that you're carrying stress, working through a problem, or dealing with emotions that you haven't fully processed yet. Her invitation to talk isn't about prying into your business. It's about offering support and connection during times when you might need it most. Other times, she might simply want to deepen your relationship by creating opportunities for more meaningful conversation. She might be craving emotional intimacy and hoping to learn more about your inner world, your thoughts, and your feelings. Understanding her motivations can help you respond in ways that honor both her invitation and your own needs. If you're not ready to talk about something serious, you can still acknowledge her invitation and perhaps suggest a lighter conversation topic that still allows for connection. Recognizing these signs is only half the battle. The other half is knowing how to respond in ways that create meaningful connection without feeling forced or uncomfortable. First, remember that you don't have to dive into the deepest parts of your soul every time she signals that she wants to talk. Sometimes simply acknowledging her invitation and engaging in lighter conversation is enough to create the connection she's seeking. You might start by thanking her for creating space for conversation. Something simple like, "I appreciate you taking time to just sit with me," can go a long way toward acknowledging her effort and intention. If you're not sure what to talk about, you can ask her questions too. Show interest in her thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Conversation is a two-way street, and showing curiosity about her inner world often encourages her to continue creating these opportunities for dialogue. If you're dealing with something, but you're not ready to talk about it yet, be honest about that. You might say something like, "I appreciate you being here for me. I'm working through some stuff right now, but I'm not quite ready to talk about it yet. Can we just enjoy being together for now?" The key is to respond in some way that acknowledges her invitation, even if you're not ready or able to have a deep conversation in that moment. When you become skilled at recognizing and responding to these subtle invitations to talk, you'll likely notice some beautiful changes in your relationships. First, you'll probably find that your conversations become richer and more meaningful over time. When someone feels heard and valued, they're more likely to continue creating opportunities for connection. You'll also likely notice that she becomes more direct in her communication over time. When women feel safe and heard, they often become more comfortable expressing their needs and desires directly, which can make communication easier for everyone involved. Perhaps most importantly, you'll develop a deeper level of emotional intimacy and trust. These moments of conversation, even when they seem small, are the building blocks of strong, lasting relationships. While we're talking about how to recognize and respond to these signs, it's worth mentioning a few common mistakes that can shut down these opportunities for connection. First, avoid dismissing her invitations as unimportant or inconvenient. Even if the timing isn't perfect for you, try to acknowledge her effort and suggest an alternative time when you can give her your full attention. Second, don't assume that every invitation to talk means she wants to have a serious, heavy conversation. Sometimes she might just want to connect and enjoy your company. Let the conversation develop naturally, rather than jumping straight into deep, emotional territory. Finally, resist the urge to try to fix everything when she does share something with you. Often, she's not looking for solutions. She's looking for connection and understanding. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply listen and acknowledge her feelings. The ultimate goal of recognizing these signs isn't just to respond to individual invitations to talk. It's to build a culture of open communication where both people feel safe, valued, and heard. This means creating your own invitations to talk sometimes. Show interest in her thoughts and feelings. Create environments that encourage conversation. Be vulnerable and open when it feels appropriate. When both people in a relationship are skilled at creating and recognizing these opportunities for connection, it creates a beautiful upward spiral of intimacy and understanding. Learning to recognize when she wants you to talk is really about learning to be more attuned to the subtle ways people communicate care, interest, and availability for connection. These signs, the lingering looks, the physical proximity, the strategic pauses, the gentle questions, the vulnerability, the environment creation, and the gift of attention, are all beautiful expressions of someone wanting to connect with you on a deeper level. The next time you notice one of these signs, try responding with openness and appreciation. You might be surprised at how much these small moments of connection can enrich your relationships and deepen your understanding of the people you care about. Remember, good communication isn't just about talking, it's about creating space for authentic connection. When someone is giving you these subtle invitations to talk, they're offering you something precious: their time, attention, and emotional availability. What has your experience been with reading these kinds of subtle communication signals? Have you noticed these signs in your own relationships? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And if this video was helpful for you, consider subscribing for more insights about communication, relationships, and building deeper connections with the people who matter most in your life. Until next time, keep paying attention to the beautiful, subtle ways people show they care about you.